Hello everyone, welcome back to the Aqua-Tech Sales and Marketing YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about pump control. And no, we're not going to be talking about some relay boxes that we can install on the wall and confuse our machines up. We're going to be talking about the onboard pump control from the Lochinvar Night boiler. And my flow is on point today, so this is going to be a good one.
As some of you may know, and some of you may not know, the night wall hung boiler and the floor mount boiler, because they're essentially the same boiler except one sits on the wall and one sits on the floor, has the ability to operate and control three pumps from our line voltage or our terminal box here. We can see our domestic pump, our boiler pump, and our system pump. But if you haven't worked on a newer machine, or if you just haven't worked on Lochinvar at all, you might not know that it also has the ability to activate a domestic recirc pump. And those are typically the four pumps that you would see in a mechanical room. And because the boiler has the ability to do these things, it potentially saves you from using unnecessary material. So I'm going to go here to the low voltage board, and I'm going to show you that it has a domestic recirc sensor. You can wire into the board right there. And over here, it provides a 24-volt relay coil to actually trigger or activate the pump when it's needed to recirc hot water. A couple other things that you might not know about the boiler is that it has a 0 to 10 system input from the 0 to 10 volt signal from a system pump it can receive, and it can also send out a 0 to 10 signal to a boiler pump. And I'll show you why that is important. So we'll go to a typical piping setup. And if we look here, this is a pretty standard piping arrangement. We have our boiler pump, we have our system pump, and we have our domestic hot water pump. So firstly, the signals back and forth. Well, this pump can send a 0 to 10 signal to our boiler, and our boiler can send a 0 to 10 signal to our pump. And as this boiler modulates up or down, depending on what's happening with these zone controls as they're opening or closing, it will send a signal to this pump, to the boiler, and say, I'm going to ramp up because I need to provide more flow, or I'm going to ramp down because I need to provide less flow. And this boiler is going to then send a signal to the boiler pump and say, you're going to do the same, ramp up or ramp down based on what my modulation point is. And that way everything is sort of working together and you're maximizing your flow and thermal efficiency. Now, when these have met their set point and when the system pump and the boiler pump or the zones have met their set point and this boiler pump shuts off, the boiler will then activate a domestic pump, assuming there's a call for heat if this tank needs some hot water. The other thing, as I mentioned, the recirc pump. So if we have a recirc line, which I am hoping that most of us do, then we can install a pump here with a sensor, and that sensor will then be tied into the boiler, and the boiler will send or activate a 24-volt coil to activate the pump, and then we just have this pump moving water, because all we really need to do is just move a little bit of water in or through our recirculation line so that there's plenty of hot water for our homeowners or our buildings. And what this allows us to do is avoid a zone control that we would typically buy and install on the wall, right, for 4 different pumps, and then send out wires all over the place and save money or spend extra money on material. So what we're doing here is, by using what's on the actual board, we are cutting this guy out completely. And I think that's a pretty useful little tip, because you might not know that it has the ability to do this. And why not use the controls on the unit that are given to you and keep it simple and avoid this extra stuff over here. No need for this stuff.
Thank you once again for watching. As always, please like, subscribe, send some feedback. Let me know if that was useful to you and if that's something that you will be aware of and make use of in the future on your future installs. Once again, thanks for watching and take care. Have a good rest of the week, rest of the month, whatever you're doing. All right, cheers.